start yet. Okay. Good to be here. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I promise to talk very slow. So whenever I talk too fast, wave your hand. And that's, please, very important. Whenever I say something what you don't understand, maybe I use a concept or a word or something which you are not familiar with, just raise your hand. It doesn't make any sense if you just say, well, okay, I don't understand what he's talking about. And on Friday and the farewell dinner, you say, well, Chris, on Monday, 5 o'clock, I got lost. So this would not help us anything, okay? So please really say something, mention we have enough time. We should get some discussion. I don't have too many slides with me. I basically try to communicate with you. This makes it easier. Especially, please talk to me. This is not a lecture in the sense I talk, because if it would be a lecture where only I would talk, we could have made it easier. Then I could have made a video by myself at home, and you just look to the video, and this would be maybe easier, but not so much fun. Okay? So that's basically the logic. Just a few remarks. The 1 week is a learning week for you, but also for us. For Stephanie and for me, it's also a learning experience. We are not familiar too much with the systems in Latin America. This is new for us. However, we can tell you a little bit about our systems, of course. Not in the sense that this is good what we have in Germany or Europe. It is important for you to know. Later you can decide whatever you think could be the right one. And we talk today, by the way, just for the procedure. I have 2 or 3, we learned in your role game, you learned the roles must be precise and the rules of the game must be discussed before. So this we learned with a bucket with the water. Rules must be precise and clear. So I wrote down 2 or 3 rules. Number 1, you get all the slides from me at the end of the presentation. I mean, 2 or 3 hours later, we put it somewhere, there's a system or something where you get it. So there will be something. The reason is simple. I have many slides with me. I usually only use very few slides. However, at the beginning, I really do not know which slides I'm going to use. And in order not to confuse you with slides which had never been used, I always have this procedure, also in my classes at home, that afterwards you get the slides with all the information. Okay? Then another part, you will see a major task for us is to work on the personal action plan. This is really the outcome of the week, the personal action plan. Which means everything what we're doing now has to be focused on the personal action plan. Yeah? This means you can ask a question, what does it mean for my personal action plan? This is a very relevant question, because the personal action plan is supposed to help you to guide your behavior and also help you with the problem of resistance to change. This was mentioned several times. And I have a nice picture with you about change. This we don't talk, we introduced ourselves, so you get this later. This is not too important. This is one of my favorite pictures. The EFMD, which is one of the organizations in Europe which is standardizing higher education, also in other countries, they're exporting, it's a business. And they have this absolute beautiful picture. I don't know whether you like it as I do. It is just great. The business of change. This chameleon, do you have chameleons in Guatemala? Okay, then you know it. We don't have it in Germany, so I obviously have to explain it. It's a chameleon. And I think this is a very interesting issue. Business of change and chameleon. What does it tell us? What's kind of the logic behind it? You have to adapt. You adapt to it. Yeah? Environment, yeah? Like Charles Darwin, you have to adapt to environment. Has something to do with being flexible, yeah? Open mind, good point. What could be wrong with this picture? Always, if you have a picture, just a second. Slowly, slowly. Not only me, you also here. We have 28 people. If everybody just starts to shout, the first one will win. From which country are you coming? Nicaragua. Okay, good. So the question, what could be wrong with this picture? Yeah, could be. Some other ideas? Yeah. Yeah. So the point which is behind it, therefore I like this picture very much because it has some good parts. Yeah?
I think change means innovation, maybe just to imitate.
Yes. Perfectly. That's good. Where did you get this from? You're perfectly right. Change means innovation and not just imitation. Therefore, this is an absolute, from my point of view, a total nonsense picture. I've always carried with me. I was going to write an article about it, but I didn't have time to do it because it's nonsense. Because your task is, when you talk about innovation, and we need innovation, we do not need imitation. And many things what we currently talk about when we talk about change, unfortunately, is not innovation. It is basically imitation of something somebody told you what is the good idea to be imitated. This is a very important part. So, of course, you have to have flexibility, which is the right word. Of course, you have to understand the environment. This is always right. You have to understand what happens around you. Also, you have to have a fit with the environment. But all this does not necessarily mean you have to copy the environment. And this is something that's very important for your personal action plan. Even though we change experiences and change best practices, at the end of the day, when you win because you gain some kind of competitive advantage. And you never gain a competitive advantage by imitating the average. This never ever works. So especially for your schools, which display, as this I learned already, a large variety of aspects, try to find out what is a specific strength, not only the weakness. We all, and especially we Germans, always look what we are doing wrong. Try to find out what is a positive aspect about it. Try to find where you get the source for your innovation. And so therefore in your personal action plan, there should not necessarily always stand, well, we are weak in, we are weak in, we are weak in. You are strong in certain parts, and you have opportunities in certain parts. And please try to carve them out. Yes, please?
So it means that this
Yeah, the competitive advantage is definitely not the same for everybody. Yeah? If you take this school here today, yeah, 3,000 students or something I learned. Yeah? I didn't know it before from the detail, but if I would say what could be the advantage of this school, the school is a variety. Yeah? The many things which then allow at the end of the day a huge interdisciplinary activities. Because we have here with 3,000 students, so many programs, so many research ideas, you can learn from always from the other ones. Yeah? So your task here could be really go for interdisciplinary activity. Yeah, which hard. In my school, we have about 4,000 students just doing law. And 5,000 students just doing business administration. At the respective number of professors in these particular fields. So for us, we have a different strategy. We try to be a leader in a certain market because in some cases you need a critical mass and we are over it, we need it. So it's different in this particular area. So you're right, the competitive advantage is not the same for everybody. On the variety of fields, you gain your advantage on a certain field and you must be sure of it and you must communicate it to your unit what is the specific advantage of your particular field. Yeah, like in our school, for instance, in business administration, let's be in this part, We have one really competitive advantage of being the leader in Germany in, sounds silly, in the textbook field. So most textbooks about management in Germany coming from our university. Yeah? So when I was a dean, I did not buy the idea that we should go move in certain fields. Yeah? Like writing A-rated journal articles, which is good, but is not necessary always. I said, let's try to continue the brand of being the best textbooks from Germany. They're coming from management from Saarland. And I can prove you this. We have a high market share in most of the fields because this is a tradition. This is our competitive strengths. For most of my colleagues, it is not the competitive strengths to write articles in American journals. This is not the competitive strength. So if I, when I was a dean, would force my colleagues to write articles for American journals, which is maybe the international trend, we would lose our competitive advantage of having most of the textbooks in Germany for management coming from our school. So therefore, you're perfectly right. It depends on your school. And as a dean or as somebody in charge of the unit, you must be very careful not diluting your competitive advantage, which you have, but which you might in certain cases do not really recognize. So therefore, keep this picture in mind. This is one of the most important issues for this afternoon. Yeah? Remember the chameleon, for the good and for the bad. Okay? So this is the first thing we have to learn today. So I move directly to the pub. There are certain theoretical things. I have here, I could talk with you about many, many things. So, the system doesn't work. Why is the system not working? Well, if not, for some reason, it does not work. Ah, no, it's working. Yeah, of course. I have here, okay, I bring these 2 slides more, so to warm you up for what comes up. Understanding the relevance of strategy for higher education. Understanding the relevance. What we are doing here is really important. Number 1, and you see it exactly here on the slide here, the fun part is you can add something here. In this particular case, here we have some kind of a local and national competition. This must be in it. We have a national competition. We should not forget the idea that in most countries, maybe not in some of yours, but in Germany, the universities, there is a competition in higher education. We must be better than the other one. Also, you have an international competition, which is increasingly. You have an international competition for students. In some countries it's really important. You have it for research money, and you have it for professors. We have internet competition, and of course you have always limited resources. Every school has limited resources. The competition would be, well, not so bad if you have enough resources. But we do not have enough resources. One kind of competition is missing on the slide. Which one? I just saw it. It's not on purpose. It's just, I forgot it. Sounds like pedagogical, but it's not pedagogical. It's just, I just forgot it. There's a third one. The third one is where? The national one, the international one, and the one within the university. The units have some kind of a competition. In many cases, faculties fight against each other. Of course, we are all friends. We are always one university. We all have the same mission. Of course, all friends. When we deans met together, of course, all friends. But exactly, we were watching. You get more money here, I get your money here, I get this research grant, and you not, and so on, and so on, and so on. So we do not have to forget that when we're talking about units or faculties, depending where you come from, units and or faculties are also in competition. The faculties, but also within the faculties, certain units. Remember the size of my faculty? You can imagine how many units we have. Interesting part, they're still fighting. Yeah? And so you as a dean or as a head of the unit, you have to understand that this competition, and there's nothing wrong with it. You cannot get it away. But you must find clear-cut rules how it's done. And especially you must be careful that your competition within is not hurting your competition to the outside. So if we three would be a faculty, 1, 2, 3 departments, and we three would always fight together against each other, and then by this fight we would lose against all the other guys. It doesn't make any sense. So we must be really careful where the competition is and how it stands and how we go to. This is number one. Second part is basically relevance for HR. The point is, and we had some of these sentences today already, HR is basically the one where you really get the innovation from. And you basically get innovation from because there are the people. And this is currently the weak spot in many universities. And you always get a good winner if you improve the weak spots at least a little bit. You're better than most of them. So this is it. And then, of course, to get the people. This is, for instance, our school, very important, really, to get the good people to it, motivate it, develop, keep, and compensate. And we saw it already in the things you mentioned this morning: recruitment, generation X and Y, incentive, psychology, and so on. Except of one of the coaches, you did not mention too much words like commitment, motivation, qualification, and these type of words. It was basically one group of words. However, we will also talk about the other group of work. This all goes together. Okay? Basic idea? So, let's move to the pub. I don't know where it's in front. Here is it. Okay. To the pub. Let's go really to the pub and not to the... This all comes tomorrow. Don't be afraid. You're not losing it. All the colorful pictures come tomorrow. All the colorful picture comes tomorrow. So, in my lectures, I usually point out certain parts of the lecture which are real important. These real important sections are usually 2 to 4 minutes. Okay? So when I say really important, exactly like this. It comes really important. So, the pub you are writing, and which is probably being written on Friday, the pub you are writing has 3 sections. Now you might say, what is the complicated part about this, that you have 3 sections? The real complicated part is to understand that these 3 sections really mean 3 different things. Really mean 3 different things. In the first part, you make an analysis. You try to find out where are the strengths, where are the weaknesses, what is our system, and you can describe it. You get a logic for it, but it's basically an analysis. It is something like a self-reflection, like a self-evaluation, a self-assessment, all these kind of things. The second part is HR strategy. In the second part, you are going to write where and how you would like to go to. It's a strategy. And in the third part, it's the implementation. And implementation means you are going to write who is going to do what at which time and so on. And the real important task is, and I know it from several exercises, really to see the difference between these 3 parts. I give you one example of how it should not be. In one of my last PAPs I read. In one of my last PAPs, I had the following sentence. In the analysis section, there was a sentence, well, as a faculty, we are not too good in research. Okay, it could be more precise, but okay, let's leave it this way. In the strategy section, there was a sentence, well, we should be better in research. And guess what was in the implementation section? To get better in research. really. Okay? This was a big surprise at the end of the day. Okay? So there are three different things. Yeah? For instance, in this particular case, you could have written, if this would be a case, really try to find out, are you really weak in research? You can compare it to local benchmarks, you can compare it to other parts, you can compare it to whatsoever. Because weak basically means you do less than others. By the way, this need not necessarily to be wrong. I know several schools who are basically teaching schools. We have a public activity to do, they have a public service to do, and they are teaching schools. So they don't want and they don't need to be good in research. However, in analysis section you can write, okay, we are weak in research. You can find indicators for this. In the strategy part, especially when you talk about HR strategy, you really must try to think about the idea, how can we, if the strategy would be better in research, in the strategy section you can write in which fields I can do something to change it. Well, what could you do in HR in order to be better in research, to be a better research faculty? Any ideas? What could you do? Yeah, so the strategy could really be in this part. Hire people with much more research experience. This would be some part, yeah, really a recruitment strategy. Everyone must have a research experience, not just research tendency, yeah, but must have a proven research record. It's a different whether I say I would like to do some research or if I would have done research.
Incentive plan for research.
You could also say, okay, I have already some people, and now you come back to the assessment. Yeah? So in the assessment you must get a logic, where is our problem? The problem could be, I do not have anyone who is doing research because nobody is able to do research. Then a recruitment strategy would be a good idea. Another way would be, I have many people who could do research, but they are so lazy, so immotivated. Maybe I can have an incentive to get them in order to do some research. You see the point? This would be strategies. It could be either a recruitment strategy and or an incentive strategy. But this is a strategy. And in the implementation part, you really tell us how you're going to do this. Like in recruitment, you say, well, okay, I have these standards, I have these procedures, I have a recruitment committee, I do this and this, external evaluators, and so on and so on. And in the incentive system, you really say, well, okay, I put in these kind of incentives for this and this money, and so on and so on. And I do this in 2 weeks, I do it in 2 months, and after 6 months, I'm going to measure it, and so on. Okay, you see the point. So this is something what is really important. And therefore, the PUP you are going to write should be not a huge narrative long paper where you dump in all the text documents you have found over the last 20 years. Nobody will read it, nobody will care, nothing will be changed. Try to limit it to a few points where you see from the analysis which are important. The other ones you do not have to worry about. Because the point of strategy is not to discussing everything which is around the world, but trying to find those points which are really important. Okay, you got the point? So being short, being concise, and really understand what goes into which section. Okay? Okay, let's move a little bit to the sections.
Professor,
Yes?
when you say, for instance, that when you research, but that depends on the mission.
Yeah.
That we will have to take into account. I mean, if the university have a statement that say that it's our mission to teach and research and da. Well, I guess we see
Yes.
to improve that.
You're perfectly right. It depends on the strategy, on your mission of your university, of your faculty. But the only thing I was trying to say is that not necessarily when you say we do not have much research, it is not necessarily a bad thing. It depends on the strategy of your university. However, as you said, if your university has a mission or vision or something, however these nice words always sound, and really have the feeling we would like to go there, okay, then it's your obligation to do it. Okay? Okay, so this was the important part. Now we go down and relax. The 3 sections we are dealing with. Section number 1 is the analysis section, and this section has the following points. By the way, these points are mandatory. So in order to get a standardized idea, you kind of follow this one. Because if everyone does it in a different way, it will be complicated. So therefore, please try to stick exactly to these categories. You get a document in this system where you find it later. There is a document where it has even a cover page already, so everything is in there. So work in this document and really work in this particular structure. Okay? So, the first part is analysis. And I just run you through, I know most of you have the information about the PUP, but I just do it once more in order to make sure that we have the exact identical information today. Usually, and this is a very important part, section 1.1 is a brief description of the unit you are talking about. A brief description. Here, by the way, it is important that you tell us for which unit you are doing your PUP. It's a difference whether I do this PUP for the archaeology department with all the nice things we saw today, or you do it for the whole university. It's a difference. Everything could be right, but here you really must point out what is the unit of analysis of your paper. How long is your school, how big is it, and so on, all these kind of figures around it. Then there is another section, which can be a very short section, which is a section labeled organization. How is it structured, and so on, because your PUP is not only written for yourself, but also for other people who are supposed to read it. And certain things which are easy for you to know, we don't know it. Usually a small organizational chart would be nice, where you say, okay, these are the institutes, or these are the programs, and so on. Usually you have these kind of charts available. Then, and now we come to what you said, we need the mission, the vision, everything around it. This you can really copy from some other documents. However, it is important when you copy something from another document that you state it. Yeah? That it is not your personal mission you found out over a glass of beer at the evening at the beach. Yeah? But this is a president's mission, or the whatsoever mission, or the mission of your whatsoever. So please, if you take something from a document, really do it like an academic paper. Yeah? Make little marks on it, say, okay, here's a quote from our mission. Then, and this you know already, you do some kind of a SWOT analysis. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunity, threats. You are familiar with this? There's also one kind of a paper where you can fill it in, just to understand this kind of matrix.
Foda in Spanish.
What is Spanish?
Foda.
Okay, foda. Whatever this is, but this is exactly what I was trying to say. So this is basically at the beginning. So what you're going to do is you kind of make this SWOT analysis. But then, and this is important, we are talking about human resource management. We are not talking in general about your school. This you will not get done in 5 days. So, related to the following 5 points. Number 1, human resources as to categories, description, and so on. In this paragraph, it's very important that you state, that you give some information about the configuration of your unit. For instance, how many people with doctoral degrees you have in the teaching staff and so on. Because this is later maybe a strength or maybe not a strength, but it is important to know. Yeah? What is the kind of, how many full professors do you have? Do you have basically faculties on part-time basis? And so on. Because your HR strategy depends on the type of people you are working with. And it's the difference whether you have a stable situation or you have a part-time faculty. Neither one could be good or bad. That's not the point, but your strategy depends on this. So this must be go to 1 for 1. 1 for 2, okay, here you talk a little bit about the development program and the career structures. Yeah? The idea if they are moving up some kind of hierarchy or if they do not move up. If you have development programs, by the way, most do not. Nor do we, so it's, yeah. But in this particular case, you just say, well, we don't have it. That's it. And the career structure is maybe after 5 years you get promoted, or after 7 years you get promoted, regardless of good or bad. So you just give the information. 1 for 3 is recruitment. Is the idea, where do you get your people from and how do you get it from? This, of course, is different to most of your universities if you compare them, because it depends on the local market where your people come from. It depends whether you're a school which has only a very local market, or if you are a school which has a broader market. Yeah, some schools have are in a small city and they get only the people from the small city, so it is a different situation. Motivation incentives, that's a good one. Motivates your people. What motivates them? Here we can talk about this, what we saw today, generation X and Y, and these kind of things would fit in there. Yeah? Whether the older ones are not motivated or the younger ones are not motivated. Yeah? So all this stereotyping could go in this part and so on. So these are the motivation. And then there comes one part which is maybe a little bit boring. This is compensation. However, in order to make it more interesting, we combine it with ethics. Okay, it's the idea how to compensate. And there are just a few details, but some details which are very, very important and very discretionary in the sense of there could be different meanings and different content to different schools. So basically what you try to do is to find out where can you be different than other ones, and later you find out compensation is one. Because here you have something to differentiate yourself. Which means section 1 is pure analysis. Section 2, this is now kind. Yes, of course. Decide, whosoever. Personal development is basically the header for the programs you have. What kind of development ideas? Do you have courses for them? Do you have coaching for them? Trainings for them? These kind of things? And career structure is basically kind of the path where people are following the hierarchy and the way how you move through the hierarchy. This is career structure. Activities, the coaching, the training, if you have certain programs or not. Some schools have many workshops, others do not have anything. So basically the first part, both are combined, so therefore they are in one section. Yeah? Mm-hmm.
But I don't compensation.
For who? When you work, you get money in your school also? At least in Germany, they're not always work without.
Incentives and motivation. So what's
The difference is a rather simple one. Incentive is everything which gets you moving. And compensation is one specific incentive, which means money. And at least from the theory, there could be some other things which gets you moving besides money. And this we're going to find out. Okay? Okay? Yes, please.
Could you explain briefly human resources again?
Again, human resources is a category which means the configuration of people you have. in the sense of which kind of levels you have, how many people are on the level, whether you have teaching staff which have a doctoral degree or not, these kind of information, whether they are full-time employed or not full-time employed, and so on. Okay? Good.
Excuse me, now what is
The structure of the career.
careers?
The difference between both is that the first part, categories, is basically you say you have this level, this level, this level, this level, and you say you have 9 people sitting here, 7 people here, 5 people here, and 1 people up there. This is the section Human Resources Categories. And career structures, career is the moving between levels. Career structure would mean how do you get from here to there? How many do you get from here to here? What is the success factor which moves you from A to B? Simple. You still don't believe it? Excuse me, we have here just... No. No. The word from.
After 5 years, you return.
Okay? Okay, you got, I think he got it. He got it?
Well, I will see on Friday after.
Okay, I think we're going to have a lot of fun. Okay, section 2, that's easy one. Section 2, the only thing you really have to pay attention to is there's a difference between 2.1 and 2.2. 2.1 is basically a short version or abstract from the general overall strategy of your unit as long as you have one. Yeah? So if you have a certain strategy, we would like to go into green technologies or something. This could go into here. Because you always have the idea that your HR, as to some degree, follows the overall strategy. And therefore you need a certain place where the overall strategy goes to. And this overall strategy goes to 2.1. Well, section 2.2, this is a symmetrical copy of the first one. The only difference is here you are stating what you are going to do, which means, following your example, in order to make sure that you really know the difference, when you decide to make different categories, this could go into section 2.1. When you decide to have different ways of moving between the categories, in the sense that everybody who is moving from an assistant professor to an associate professor has to spend 2 years in Saarland University, then this would be in here. Okay? So here in this section, we basically have your strategy, the idea what you are trying to do. Be very precise and understandable what this we talked about. Third part, well, this is a specific implementation ideas. Here you say, you sum up some of the major objectives, what you see. Stakeholders, that's an important section, because whom are you going to convince what your paper is going to be in? The point is, when you say, for instance, you would like to become a great research faculty, whom are you going to tell this? And who is the constituency who might say, no, you're not supposed to do it? So in the back of your mind, you must think, whom are you going to write it for? It could be your colleagues. It could be the president. It could be the governor of the state. It could be the local newspaper or whatsoever. Remember today we had this one picture with the change picture of the circles, and there was this stakeholder, one part of it. And you must just look, whom are the persons you have to convince? And this is important for your paper, really to know whom you are going to convince. This is just to know it. Then activities. Okay, what are you really to do? Activities. responsibility is basically who is going to do it. It's nice to say we all would like to get happy, but who is in charge of being happy or becoming happy? And then this is the most fun part in 3.5, the timeline. When are you going to do all this? The term in some near future is not a precise academic term. As we all know, no controller would agree to this part, so we have to be very precise into these sections. Okay? So this is basically the logic of the paper you are going to write. You are going to write means you are really going to write it. You have enough time. We have 1 week. In 1 week you can write a lot. We have 2 or 3 things which should make it easier for you. The first part is that you get individual coaching. Therefore, you have a huge coaching staff here around. They all tell you exactly what is good about your paper. And now are 2 dates to remember. The first one is on Tuesday evening, tomorrow. Oh yeah, tomorrow's Tuesday, yeah, thank you. Thank you, Maricruz. Thank you. I know why I need you here. Tomorrow on Tuesday at 6 o'clock in the evening. The first draft is to be handed in. Okay? It need not to be complete, but there should be something in. And this something in is for your advantage. Because as sooner you give us some information about what you're going to write, we can give you feedback. So when you do not give, okay, that's up to you, then it's easier for us and we don't have to look at something. Yeah, so it's easier for us. So you can give it us on Friday. Up to you. Up to you. However, when we get it sooner, you get feedback. And the point is, if we have tomorrow and every day, you have a section at least from 4 to 6 where you can also work on the paper. And there's a printer somewhere here, or printers somewhere here, so you can print out the paper. So, but we need it at 6 o'clock. Because the coaching staff is going to meet at 6 o'clock tomorrow. And we are looking for your papers and working with your papers. Okay? So we have all 28 papers there. We have big red pencils there. And small green ones. So you will really get a feedback. And so therefore, please try to take the opportunity. If I were you, I would really try to use this time. Yeah? Try to work something in it. Try to work a little bit this evening. I know some of the jacklets, some are tired, I know it. But we are not just here for the fun. I mean, we are basically here for the fun. You have to work. Okay? The same procedure holds, is duplicated on Thursday. Thursday is the same one. Thursday, you are probably close to the final paper. Again, we have our coaching meeting at Thursday evening at 6 o'clock. Probably this meeting is going to be a little bit longer because I assume that the papers on Thursday will be more in detail than the one on Tuesday. And again, on Friday, you get the feedback. So the feedback from the Tuesday session, you get on Monday in the morning already. And the feedback for the Thursday session, you get on Friday. Wednesday morning and Friday morning. Okay? So this is one part. So you also have several sessions where you get additional information about what is going to be in the papers. And I have to go all the way back because I changed the order, as you might see. So the point is you have on Tuesday. Yeah. So basically today we talked at least a little bit about the idea what is human resources. So the one section. Therefore, you remember this structure here. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Stephanie will give you specific lectures on certain issues. On the afternoon, after lunch, she will work with you on these issues. So you get specific details about personal development, career structures. Tomorrow, Wednesday, recruitment, employer branding. Thursday, motivation, incentives. And on Friday, you get something about compensation and ethics. In addition to this, you get some kind of matrix structure over it, some kind of logic around it, which comes into several points. This is what I'm going to do. So today I talked a little bit about the inner logic of the paper. This I did today. Tomorrow I will talk a little bit about the idea, what is strategy? What is the concept behind all this? Wednesday I talk a little bit about capabilities. Thursday a little bit about psychological contract, which fills into various slots, not just in one slot. And on Friday about sustainability, which then blends a little bit to the ethical part Stephanie is going to do in the afternoon. Okay? So this is basically the structure you see. After lunch, always is specific from Stephanie. And in the morning, the little lecture from me, kind of the cross-sectional one. Okay? Questions? Yes, please.
This format will be also available in electronic format in the formats. Adrian Hill to use it because you are going to have the electronic format.
Okay? Good. So this is basically to the point. And then there is one other issue. Now we come to the important point again. Remember? 2 minutes. We have one session each day, which is called the best practice session. Best practice means everybody in the room shares his idea about what is he or she doing good. Okay? So you present what you are doing good. Okay? Everybody's presenting it. Which means we have 4 sessions, which means we have 28 people, which means we have 7 participants each day. So please do the following little exercise, and we see whether it works. But you did so many exercises today, and they all worked, so why shouldn't this not work? So please do the following. You get a paper. You get paper and pencil. And then please write on the paper in chronological order, 1, 2, 3. Attention, please. 1, 2, 3. Please write topics you would like to share with us. Okay? And what we are then doing when we get it, we put it up here and shuffle it around so that you know who is on Tuesday, who is on Wednesday, who is on Thursday, and who is on Friday. And therefore we need 3 points because everybody has the same one. We must find a way of little modifying it. Okay? Then we might go to the number 2 or 3. Okay? The copy, right, the topic is somewhere, okay, the topic has something to do with, psst, attention please. The topic is, of course, one part of the personal action plan. It could be on the major level, like 2 to 1. It could also be that you write, okay, 2 to 1, I would write how to motivate the young generation. Okay? Okay, up to you. Start writing. And who is finished, please immediately give us the papers. We collect it. Hat jeder eine Karte gekriegt? Einsammeln. Yes.
I'm going to tell them about the cover page
Yeah.
to identify each draft, and also that it has to be written in English.
Oh yeah, I
Yes,
forgot it.
that-
Yeah, okay. Thank
okay?
you, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, we do it after we collected it.
Yes.
Okay. So let's see, when somebody's ready, we can get the cards already.
Cuando ya.
Ja, das reicht, ich brauche nichts mehr. Ich bin glücklich und zufrieden. Done?
No.
Okay.
I did my homework, but I have some confusion with these criteria: the category description
Yeah.
and the career structure. I understand this
Okay.
explanation, but some
But the point is, maybe we could talk about this later. I would rather try to put you on this 1, 2, 3 right now. What would you like to tell us?
well, we have a problem
On here,
with the human structure.
okay? Oh, you have already 3? 1, 2, 3 is the assessment. Okay, organization climate, good. That's okay, it's enough. So, I have 1 card already. So, hier haben wir schon mal 1, können wir schon mal draußen hinlegen. If you just have 2, it's also okay. If you say 2, it's... So, you have 2? Gut. Sortieren Sie schon mal vorne. Ich gehe mal sammeln. Ich tue mal jetzt. Okay, you have your 2?
Yes, but in this paper,
Do you have some little description or
our,
just
No, just a headline, just a headline.
okay?
our best practice,
Best practice, where you're good in.
the thing that we want to share with
Yes,
the group
of course.
clients,
Okay?
but just limited to that topics. Just
To
limited.
everything in here. It's not like how good you are in football.
Yeah. For example, my university, some teachers need to be involved in social activities, for example.
Okay, if this is something you're good in, you can put it on there. Okay? You have enough?
Yes. Just
Could you put your name on it?
Yeah,
It makes
yeah.
it easier. By the way, excuse me, please. I just got some information I forgot to say. I thought it was self-explanatory. It would make it easier for us if you put some kind of an indication of your name or something on it. It makes it a little bit easier for us. You can also have a nickname. Then I said, who is Asterix? Steffi, bringen Sie das hier oben rauf, auf dieses große da. Da haben wir viel mehr Platz. Wir haben 28 Karten. Ja, tun Sie.
Also, dass wir gucken, was ist Recruiting, was ist Motivation,
Ach so, das ist gut.
was ist Personal Development
Ja.
und das letzte ist dann noch Compensation. Das geht
Oder
auf
das
jeden
erste auch
Fall.
sogar.
360 Grad, das ist mehr Motivation und Incentive.
Ja.
Research Success, Founding Sharing,
Ich brauche noch einen Stift. Haben Sie einen Stift dran?
das
Hand.
ist dahin.
Ja. Okay. What is EPS? Haben wir einen Stift haben kurz?
Ja, ja. Ich sammle mal noch was. Oder soll ich Ihnen...
Nee, ich weiß nicht, what is... Also 360 ist schon mal gut. Das ist eine klare Sache. Fangen wir an, was gut ist. Conflict resolution is also good. This we can use. Funding sharing. Was ist Funding? Research success. This is
Founding ist das.
founding.
Oder
Okay.
Finding?
Funding.
Funding, ne? Funding.
Funding sharing.
Sharing. funding share or sharing
Das ist-
funding. So this is
die hat ja-
motivation, ethics, motivation.
Die hat so ein Sportprogramm, das wäre vielleicht auch ganz interessant.
Okay, dann nehmen wir das.
Motivation, ethics, motivation.
Yes.
Okay, let's take this one. Where's the sport program? This one here?
This one, this one.
This sounds good. What is EPS?
Oh, professionalization, field practice. So they all have.
Okay. So, was haben wir noch in Motivation? Das ist Motivation, das ist das.
So this might be personnel development, DPS.
Okay. Ich glaube, wir kommen nicht mit den Karten weiter. Wir müssen die hier gruppieren. Motivation, wo ist Personal Development?
Well, so this EPS is about personnel development because they acquire skills on the field. It's like a training.
Okay,
program.
EPS is okay.
On the job training.
On the job.
This will be complicated. These are to interchange with other universities. That's a good one.
General. Das kann ich nicht, das ist Spanisch.
Can you translate it?
So I don't know if this is motivation or ethics. It's clear. Organization, areas of relations, organization and
Haben wir alle schon hier jetzt?
Social Activities as a Society. Das kann vielleicht auch in Richtung in Richtung Ethics. Social Activities.
Mentor Students.
Ja, ist auch nicht schlecht.
Kommt da irgendeiner von unseren nochmal und hilft uns? Die sind alle jetzt inhaltsleer. Service Culture, that's a good one.
Das ist allgemein.
Hier, Social Commitment geht auch in die Richtung.
Das kann ich nicht lesen. Career Structure, das ist vielleicht auch gut, die Career Structure. Gut, dann haben wir die unter, das ist die gleiche, die hat mir
Dann tun Sie die weg.
das auch. Sind die welche weg? Searching Development Plan.
Der hier hat er mehrere, Federico. Wie viele Tage haben wir noch? 4, oder?
Ja.
Was haben wir jetzt noch übrig?
Ich habe noch Searching Development Plan. Was immer das ist. Teachers.
Ich weiß nicht, ob das jetzt das ist die gleiche Person, oder?
Was denn?
Nee, unterschiedliche.
Nee. Ah, das ist der gleiche. Der hat noch hier sowas.
Weg.
Und das ist ja auch nochmal, das kann dann auch weg.
Federico Harrison kann auch weg. Sonja Barus.
Categories of Invest. Vielleicht können Sie es lesen. Ich guck mal, was noch fehlt. Also die haben wir noch nicht unter.
Haben wir alle jetzt? Gucken Sie mal nach, wir alle haben jetzt. Fragen Sie mal nach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Eins, 6. 1, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hier habe ich hier Verstößen A6.
So, die ist noch zurück und die müssen zurück.
So, das ist jetzt ein bisschen Zufall.
Können Sie es lesen?
Nee, ist mir auch egal.
Gut.
So, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Können Sie mir die Marikus mal bringen?
Marikus?
Ja, oder irgendjemand, oder Sie, die mir kurz hilft. I cannot read all of them, but I kind of grouped it a little bit. We do not have enough cards. Maybe not everybody has sent one in, but we'll find out. No, but they are duplications.
They have used more as one card.
Let's see if we have them really. I think they are already in there.
25, one person left already. Maybe 26, and maybe these are people that didn't fill in their...
Maybe overlooked one of them, but we'll find out.
Ah, there's coming. Last one. Dann haben wir, glaube ich, alle.
Okay.
And this one we
Okay, best practice. A institutional development plan, institutional reports, statistics.
What is this? Institutional reports?
Development plans, institutional reports, statistics.
Institutional.
Reports, memorias and memories, institutional memories.
I don't know what it is, but I would like to learn it.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. We will find later out. Could you help me keep track of it?
Yes.
That we
what do
know.
you need?
That I give you the card and you memorize who's in there. We don't have the names on it. Okay, excuse me, please. We'll find out. Okay. Yep. Okay, so we have already some volunteers for the best practice cases. I hope we get it all right. If not, we maybe miss somebody, but then we'll find out. Some put it on several cards, so maybe I got a little bit confused by this, but we'll find out. So the first card, strategic alliances. Who was strategic alliances? This card, there is no name on it. Oh, on the back side is a name.
I am.
Lisbeth has strategic alliances on Tuesday. Card number 1.
Ah, on Tuesday, tomorrow.
Change with other universities. Who's this? Max Hernandez and so on. Number 2, also Tuesday. Oscar, who is Oscar? Personal development. Whatever this is, also personal development. Genau, S-Kit. All is Tuesday, still Tuesday. Still Tuesday. Then we have Jose Fernandez, dialogue and conflict resolution. That's you. Then we have motivation and incentive. No, stop. We have self-evaluation for improvement. That's you.
Last Tuesday too.
It's on Tuesday. And on Tuesday we have right now also EPS field practice. This looks like you. Oh, we get something to drink. Thank you. Okay? So this is the first day. This is Tuesday. Then on Wednesday we start out. On Wednesday we start out with, I can read it. The strengths of teamwork. Then we have the flexibility of our academic growth.
The leadership.
This is Mario or Maria. Mario, that's you. Now I see some have over several cards. I'm not quite sure if we have all. We find out later. Then we have, what was this? Memories institutional?
Memorias institucionales.
Okay, but we get it in English. So these are right now 4 for Wednesday. We get more. We are not structured all day. On Thursday, we start with a 360-degree assessment. You? Then we get something to motivation. We have motivation and incentive from Madrigal. From you. I'm looking forward to this. Then we have something which is a lecture especially for you. This is a lecture about career structure from Amy Palmer. That's you. Then we have from, we don't have it yet. Do we have Frederico Harrison yet? Motivation. Then we have a green one without a name. Green one without a name. Look at the back. Oh, down there. Marionella, that's you. You get to talk about personal development. And we have Sonia talking about motivation. Who is Sonia? And we have program of physical activity for the university authorities motivation. This looks like you. So this is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Pasantías, ¿cómo se dice en inglés?
Pasantía, exchange.
Exchange. Ok, no, exchange.
Es como intercambio.
Ah.
On Friday, we start out with Elena Prieto or something. Sorry. You talk about social commitment. Looking forward to it. Then we get somebody talking about mission, vision, and something. Armilla or Milika. Then we have something which is totally Spanish, but looks good to me. Buenas relaciones sociales entre miembros or something, which is very nice. I don't know from whom, but who is it? In English? We get research success from somebody with a red card. Nothing on the back side. Then we have Gabriela. Gabriela, you talk about service culture. And we have something about mentoring students. That's you. So, whom do we not have? We have some cards left where I don't know whether we have it for simple names. Who is not on the list yet? Did you hand in a card? You wrote it, but you didn't give it to me yet. Okay. Mauricio. So we have, okay, Mauricio. We get you later, okay? Federico, we have, I think. So what do you have for us?
Okay, I don't know if I am correct.
You don't know?
I'm personal development faculty training programs. In this area, I really don't very sure.
That's a good one. You take this one. Okay, stop. So we have Romina talking about employer branding on Tuesday. On Tuesday. No, Tuesday I have just 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, Wednesday. Okay, sorry, I missed it up. Sorry, excuse me. I apologize. You look at this here. No? I'm trying to arrange it. 1, 2, 3. They're all paying attention. Okay, on Wednesday, I have until now I had 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I got the 5th one. Thank you very much. You're perfectly right. Examples of employer branding. And then I have on the same day Mauricio with searching development plan, also on Wednesday. Mauricio Velasquez. Did I have Amy Palmer yet? Who is Amy? Are you on the? Did I mention you already? Okay, who's not on the list right now? Is everyone on the list? Okay.
I only have 26 and there's 28.
Pero falta uno que viene de
Okay, so we're good.
We're good?
Yeah, well, there's 2 missing, but they're not here right now, so it's okay.
Okay, so we are perfectly good.
Well, I don't know if we're good, but the math adds up.
Okay, this is everything we can do. Okay, there are two or three things, additional remarks before you tell something about this paper. For me, just one part. If any questions, please talk to me. Talk to me, to Stephanie, to everybody.
They had questions about this.
About this, okay. Right now or later?
Well, they wanted to know how long they should talk for and if you need a presentation.
Okay, the question about how you make these best practice cases. The point is, I think we're 10 minutes, was it?
Per person?
Per person? That's long? Well, we have 2 hours time. Okay, 5 minutes?
I think it's already there. No, 5 minutes for this.
No, we're not talking.
The boss is already there, that's why we have just 5 minutes. We're talking about a different 5 minutes.
We are talking about different 5 minutes. Okay, the point is 5 minutes and 1 PowerPoint slide. One slide.
5 minutos, una slide.
Okay? Okay. At most 5 minutes, 1 slide, not more. However, the slide not very tiny written. It's like font number 4, so something should be a little bit bigger, so that at the end we can distribute it so everybody has the experience. Okay? So that's basically all. You get some more organizational information from her. From my point of view, thank you very much. I think it was a nice lecture. I enjoyed it. Thank you.